Botrix has successfully joined the channel.
The trap bar squat. The trap bar squat essentially combines the best elements of both the squat and deadlift into one extremely high value per time exercise. This exercise is one of the single most effective lifts to improve both strength and hypertrophy that most lifters never try. It will blow up your entire posterior chain by effectively targeting your hamstrings, glutes, spinal erectors, and traps. What makes it so effective is that you're basically engaging every muscle in your entire body, save for your pecs and triceps. And it's one of my favorite exercises to promote total body anabolism. The trap bar squat is significantly more taxing than a conventional straight bar deadlift from the floor. I prefer to use it as the main compound lift for my workout and have found it to be a great standalone exercise. I've done numerous workouts where I've done high rep heavy trap bar squats, and it's so fatiguing that it will be the only exercise I can do in the training session. The trap bar squat is a great lift to train for moderate to advanced level lifters, and especially for lifters whose primary goal is to put on muscle. It can be a great alternative to conventional straight bar deadlifts, and I often use it in my programs in hypertrophy blocks where the main focus is just to get as jacked as possible. The trap bar squat. The trap bar squat essentially combines the best elements of both the squat and deadlift into one extremely high value per time.
Go, bro, guys, go pull the boss! Pull the boss! Wait, this is kind of hard to heal or what? Wait, this is hard to heal? Wait, why is this hard to heal? What the hell? Guys, stand in the healing ring, bro. Like, I put a healing ring for melees and then I'm even standing in it. Okay, I'm doing well, I guess. I'm doing well, but my mana is a bit rough. Why is about 60% after 2 minutes? Something is not good. Bro, holy hell, I'm Defensive build. I've lost in 30 seconds. I don't think we're gonna live 30. Rogue! Healing tide. Oh my god, healing tide is good. Yes, baby. I have no mana. Bloodlust is gonna help. I have no mana to bloodlust. I have no mana to bloodlust. Kill the boss! Lava burst! Chain lightning, lava burst! Yes! Yes, baby! I have timed the plus 20 key, motherfucker! Never ever doubt Big P. Plus 20 key is a healer. And nobody can tell me I'm boosted. Nobody can tell me I'm f***ing boosted. You cannot say that. Everybody in this group is doing sub 200,000 DPS. Woo! And my score, you want to see my score now? My new score? 367. The initial challenge was to get 3.5. That was the initial challenge, right? And I'm like, bro, but I like it a lot. Let me get 3.6. Now we got 3.6, and then I'm like, okay, let's time at 20. Now I time 20 as well. I would have never thought in 1,000 years that I would fall in love with healing. I did. Genuinely, I love it. It's so much fun. Go, bro, guys, go pull the boss! Pull the boss! Wait, this is kind of hard to heal or what? Wait, this is hard to heal? Wait, why is this hard to heal? What the hell? Guys, stand in the healing ring, bro. Like, I put a healing ring for melees and then I'm even standing in it. Okay, I'm doing well, I guess. I'm doing well, but my mana is a bit rough.
Good day to you, partner. I'm he, and I can already tell that I'm your best friend in this forsaken kingdom.
Hey guys, we Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. So I finished this video. and I am proud to say that because I've been putting this off for a while, but it's something that just kept coming up. Does DS work on minions? People ask it over and over again. I bring up Renato's information previously, but you know what? I just thought we should look at it again. And actually, the results are a bit different. So famously, Renato did his test. I'm not sure how he did them. And I don't think he tested Shadow Warrior, but I still don't know that for sure. He's a busy man with kids and a job. And then when he comes back to PD2, he updates dummies for us. But anyways, Shadow Warrior is stupid, but not really. I love Shadow Warrior. Summonson was one of the best builds I played in a long time. And Barbarian sucks. Oh my god, Whirlwind is the most boring thing in the world after just a little bit. So anyways, anything interesting so far? No, archers have DS. We already knew that. If you're wondering how I'm testing this, it's really simple. In the PD2 pluggy stash pack, there's a +1 Spirit of Barb's Charm. Then I put on a whole ton of plus skills to my character, so I ended up getting 100 DS as you saw at the beginning. So this is the first character where we can see that DS has an effect. The archers without DS were doing about 8k. The archers with DS were doing 12k. Since it's 100 DS, they should always be doing a deadly strike, okay? So it makes it really easy to check. You just go, hey, is this doing about 50% more damage or not? And then question over. Okay, so now we go to revives. Long story short, revives do not benefit from DS. Don't worry about it. I get to show off the Frozen Yeti because he's really cool. Also, what's interesting about him is every time he crits, he did a cold attack, and he wasn't doing the cold attack without critting. I don't know if it was just like his actual attack when he does the cold damage is that much more powerful, or if he was just like a random chance. But I thought that was weird. Anyways, his cold attack does pretty good damage. But besides that, he's a CC monster. And yeah, don't worry. DS doesn't work on him. And it's not going to work on many of the summons I show you here. Like Clay Golem, I'm sorry, he's just a Claytard. Now, he does have Crushing Blow. You might see that in the numbers being shown. But if you look at just the base attacks, they're doing about 15k. They'll always do 15k. You might have seen that some of the attacks with the Oak Sage was doing about 12k, a little bit less than that, and then 15. You're like, whoa, we solo. Maybe he was critting. And I'm like, no, I checked these golems actually again afterwards just to make sure they weren't benefiting from Deadly Strike, because I saw the same thing you did and went, oh, let me just double check this. I did. Okay, so now we have the very frustrating case of the Iron Golem. Oh, by the way, Blood Golem. Blood Golem was hard to check. I really don't think Deadly Strike works on it. I actually tested him on higher health bosses, but that doesn't help because the bleed just does too much damage. I really don't think Deadly Strike works on him. Like, I was going frame by frame, and it looked pretty consistent that his splash attack was doing the same amount of damage every time. It's just hard to actually show on screen with the PDS DPS checker. PD2 DPS checker. Okay, so let me start talking about this, because this Iron Golem was actually one of the mobs that was supposed to benefit from Deadly Strike. But if you look at the numbers on the left, his hits are doing 300 to 600, whether I have the Spirit of Orbs up or not. So as far as I can tell, I'm saying this: Deadly Strike does not work on Iron Golem. Okay? And then you may go, oh, we solo. Maybe it only works if it's innate Deadly Strike. Like, I got your back, dude. Of course I went ahead and tested that. See, I even used multiple weapons. That was a weapon that was just frustrating me. I decided, I want to check that. And there I am, walking back to my dummies, listening to my King Chao rant about Platinum Kaizo. I have a tough life, okay? Look at me. I'm stressed out over here. My eyebrows are furrowed, okay? That's not good for me. This is the money maker. I can't be getting creases on my face.
My name is Ash, and like
so I try a new weapon out. I'm looking at the damage, and like when you're doing the Phoenix, he's doing like 300 to 600. When you're doing a weapon with Deadly Strike, maybe it's doing more. And then I try it again with another weapon, and oh right, no, sorry. Now I remember. So I went from shield to weapon with Deadly Strike. See, I'm doing this after I did all these tests. I forgot I had steps in between, because I was like, maybe he needs a weapon. Maybe the damage was too low or something. He needs a Deadly Strike on the weapon.
Not ready yet.
But here I am with Spirit of Barbs, and I have the Iron Golem with Deadly Strike on him, which shouldn't matter. And then I have the Oak Sage with the same weapon, which has some Deadly Strike on it. The Pierre's Tomb crap axe, full of crap. And, like, if you look at the damage rolls on the left, they're going from, like, 5,000 to, like, 12,000. So, it's like, what is going on? I'm going to say this. I think if you give him an item with DS, he'll have some DS. But, like, I honestly don't get what's happening with Iron Golem. And if you want my opinion on whether he gets DS from Spirit of Barbs, absolutely 0% chance. Like, there's no way that the Phoenix rolls with the Spirit of Barb and without would look like how they looked, okay? And then even the innate DS, it was very strange to me. I'm going to bug Renato to see if he can come over and confirm this. So by the way, this is me after doing all of my checks, realizing I actually didn't check the wolf with the Oak Sage. So I had to go back and film that real quickly. And I actually get to show off the same thing real quickly, which is the fact that these animals can crit. In fact, all pets can crit. As you can see, that attack did 3,000 damage, not 1,500. And so basically every single enemy in the game has a 5% chance to crit, and that includes skeletal mages, which is cute. So a skeletal mage can actually crit. But again, not from Deadly Strike. That's just monster crit. It's a completely different thing. Don't worry about it. Player characters don't ever get this. But you might be going, oh, so now we're on the doo-doo pets. You know, it would make so much sense, Wheat Solo. Wheat Solo, it would make so much sense if the developers of PD2 would allow Spirit of Barbs. This is the summoner who summons a spirit, which gives things Deadly Strike. You think they would have made sure at least it gave Deadly Strike to fucking Druid summons. I'm sorry, I just think this is hilarious. No, it doesn't work on any Druid summon, okay? It works on a Necromancer summon. It works on an Amazon summon, as we're about to see. And it might work on Assassin summons. We'll get to Shadow Warrior in just a moment. Okay, funny enough, Renato was emphatic on this point that Deadly Strike did not work on decoys. This is clear to me. The decoy without DS is doing 4,000. The decoy with DS is doing 6,000. That's a Deadly Strike if I've ever fucking seen one. So again, it's just hilarious that Necro and Amazon, they get the benefit from Spirit of Barbs, but the poor doo-doo doesn't get anything. Okay, so now we go to the Valkyrie. And I'm not like uber confident on this, but I would go so far as to say Valks, funny enough, do benefit from Deadly Strike. The reason why I'm not going to say I'm 100% confident is just the fact that her AI is a little whack. She just takes really long pauses. But like if you look at the video without Deadly Strike and the one with, it looks like she's doing way more damage and she kills the boss way fucking quicker. It's kind of a problem where it's hard when they're doing multiple attacks and the numbers are changing all the time to tell for sure what the actual swing is doing. But as of now, I would say this. Archers get DS, decoys get DS, Valkyries get DS. It's kind of funny that every Amazon summon benefits from Spirit of Barb's Deadly Strike. Everyone, all two in the game. Okay, so then I go to Assassin, and I love me Summon Sin. Now, obviously, unless you're playing Kick Summon Sin, the Deadly Strike wouldn't matter. I believe a Kick can Deadly Strike. Don't quote me on this, okay? I was a noob with Assassin, I still am. But you can't test Shadow Master, because that frozen image should be everything you need to see. Because the first time, she's just using all these attacks, and I'm like, alright, I should be able to see something. But then here's the problem. If she's using Tiger Strike, like, I'm just going to think she crit and it was a Tiger Strike. So I gave up trying to test Shadow Master. I'm not testing that, okay? If it works on Shadow Warrior, it works on Shadow Master. That was my thought process. Impressive. So I try to check Shadow Warrior, and these kills are almost identical speed. I try to look at the damage numbers when she actually hits to see if the damage is different. I tested one without poison. She was doing like 2,000 a hit, which is about what she's doing in this video too. I switched weapons because that one had its own issues. And like if we go to the one with Spirit of Barbs, which will happen in just a moment, like she's still doing 2,000 a hit. And she has 100 DS. So I don't understand why they wouldn't benefit from DS. It could be the same thing as the Iron Golem, where it's possible they get DS on gear. So I guess I could try to roll her with DS gear, but like Iron Golem didn't seem the deadly strike. Well, Skelly King out for now, guys. GG.
Alright, let me read on this. Offensive Heavens offers some range and safety. Our general recommendation is not to build gas blast cannon, at least initially. To begin with, try out esoteric alteration. It improves your elemental resistance with every level and provides you with a last line of defense against that property. Grow confident. Try. Stay stone of it. For its case, separate damage multiplier, your overall damage. Craft is a potent source of additional. A copy a firm spot during your progression. Long fights. Level 25 bonus. Target. To assist AoE heavy builds in their struggle against the target. I note that if you're doing more tier group, either for the person and the powerful, or the convenient protective sort of effect, I'll be not taking damage for a second. Or jail for your total life. Let me check. To do stricken. We have 61. We're gonna be doing this for a fucking minute.
I wish you luck, hero.
Not yet. Not ready yet. Patience. Not ready yet. I enjoyed that. Not yet.
Always wanted to fight some of these.
Patience.
Burn in the light.
Not yet. Patience.
The crusade marches on.
Not ready yet. Not yet.
I
Patience.
enjoyed that.
The Rift Guardian.
Not ready yet.
Never. You have triumphed.
Patience.
Let's see what we can do.
Not ready yet. I'm returning to town.
Got a petrified
Well,
scream.
my faith is rewarded.
Brave the rifts, and you will be well rewarded.
Not yet. Not ready yet. Not yet.
Like chaff before
Patience.
the wind. A glorious development.
Not yet.
I need healing. That feels better. By the light be damned.
Not ready yet.
That was a worthy foe. Glorious.
Patience. Not ready yet.
I enjoyed that.
The Rift Guardian is here.
Not yet.
Never. You have triumphed.
Patience.
Let's see the gem.
Not yet. I'm returning to town.
A fine battle.
Haha, yes!
Fortune favors the bold. Don't forget, luck always changes.
Someday, perhaps, when I'm rich.
Prove yourself worthy of your birthright.
Not ready yet.
These enemies defy
Patience.
all reason.
Not yet.
The crusade marches on.
Patience. Not ready yet. Patience.
I enjoyed that.
Not yet. Not ready yet.
Make your peace quickly.
Patience.
The Rift Guardian has arrived.
Not yet.
Never. You have triumphed.
Not ready yet.
Yes.
Patience. I need to go back.
You have...
Yes!
Van Gogh. Vengeance, stricken, and swiftness.
I will use this.
It's automatically worse. I don't know why I was looking at it.
Let's see what happens, shall we?
Maybe Unity. Maybe if I get a good Unity. Do I have any? My name. That stuff is very stuff. This one and this wizard with a trap. No. Monkey. Condemn. That's is your Then back. Yeah, I guess that makes sense for pushing.
Such a brave soul.
Iron skin? Hmm.
Are you ready? Then your trial begins.
Not ready yet.
Always wanted to find some of these.
Not yet. Patience.
The light grows stronger within you.
Not yet.
Cower before Zakarum.
Not ready yet. Patience. Not yet.
Bad luck for you, friend.
Not ready yet. Not yet.
Burn in the light.
Not ready yet.
The Rift Guardian has found.
Never. You have triumphed.
Patience.
Let's see the gem.
Not yet. I'm returning to town.
The ancient.
Glory to you. A good choice.
I've got some brand new goods you might be interested in.
I understand I'm not for everyone, but give me a try, and you won't go.
Oh, fuck you, buddy.
darkness grows while we stand about.
I wonder what the other Crusaders are doing. The Crusade promised adventure, but there seems to be an awful lot of standing about.
Evil does not rest. Neither should we.
Never know we hacked the game. Despite numerous attempts, Blizzard has not provided any information. Games this issue. Inability. By the word. Is there an air type? Such players reported hiding or it's just anchor. There's another explanation. Entirely. The truth is, I simply do not know. And because I do not know, I cannot correct whatever issue Blizzard believes exists. Nor do I believe that Blizzard has concrete evidence to support whatever these players claimed. I think it is simply a numbers game. X number of players reported me. I was given a permanent ban, which was later overturned to a 6-month suspension. But I can't know. I believe there are no more meaningful outcomes by creating additional support tickets. Customer support appears bound by internal policies and processes, and the answers are not coming from that direction. So that's the end of that.
The Crusade
or not. I am put into a position where the only recourse that will provide me a level of satisfaction that I have left nothing addressed, or that my voice was not heard, is to file a consumer complaint against Blizzard. Not that I expect that's going to overturn any judgment or force any additional investigation, but I do feel strongly that their customer support mechanism needs improvement. The purpose of this section is not to guarantee success. It is to explain the process available to consumers who wish to formally challenge a decision. Whether you live in the United States, Norway, or elsewhere, documentation matters. The first step is preserving evidence. Save everything. Emails, appeals, responses, account information, transaction history. Do not assume that these records will always remain accessible online. Download local copies and maintain your own records. If you decide to challenge a suspension or account action, begin by gathering evidence. Collect suspension notices, collect appeals, collect Blizzard responses, collect payment records, collect screenshots of your account history. Build a complete record of events. The stronger your documentation, the stronger your position becomes if you decide to pursue the matter further. I have created sample complaint letter templates for both US and Norwegian consumers. I'll link to those form letters in the description. And the goal of these letters is not to attack Blizzard. The goal is to create a professional record. Establish that you are a paying customer. Request review and clarification. Explain your concerns. And provide Blizzard with a reasonable opportunity to resolve the issue. Professional communication is usually more effective than emotional communication. One recommendation I strongly suggest is creating a one-page timeline. List every major event, when the suspension occurred, when appeals were submitted, what responses were received, what payments were made, and what attempts were made to resolve the matter. This creates a clear record that can be attached to future complaints or correspondence. If you decide to move beyond Blizzard's ticketing system, consider sending your complaint package via registered mail. This provides evidence that the company received the complaint. Whether that changes the outcome is impossible to know, but documentation is valuable, especially when you're dealing with large organizations. After providing Blizzard an opportunity to review and respond, consumers may also choose to file complaints with relevant consumer protection agencies. For U.S. residents, that may include the FTC or the Better Business Bureau. For Norwegian residents, that may include Norwegian consumer protection authorities. If you know where people can file consumer complaints in your country, please add it in the comments. I want to stress something important. This is not legal advice. I am simply sharing the process I am personally following. Let's address the obvious question. Will any of this get my account reinstated? Probably not. In fact, I would describe the chances as extremely low. Large companies rarely reverse decisions based solely on consumer complaints. That said, the purpose is not necessarily to achieve immediate reversal. The purpose is to ensure concerns are formally documented and heard. So why bother? Because change rarely happens when nobody speaks up. If consumers remain silent, companies receive no signal that a process may need improvement. Unfortunately, many complaints are expressed emotionally, and emotional complaints are often easy to dismiss. My hope is that by providing templates, guidance, and documentation strategies, people can communicate concerns in a way that is constructive and difficult to ignore. My goal is not punishment. My goal is improvement. My hope is that Blizzard will eventually review these concerns and continue improving their systems for identifying malicious actors while reducing the chances of innocent players being caught in the process. I want to make something very clear. I support gaming companies taking action against cheaters. I support efforts to remove bots. I support automation, and I support AI tools that help process enormous numbers of reports. What I do not support is a system that potentially impacts innocent players while providing no meaningful path to understand what occurred. Improvement requires dialogue. Improvement requires transparency. And improvement requires empathy from both sides.
Holy, do you see that enemy over there?
So, what about me? Personally, I'm doing fine. Sure, the situation is frustrating, but it's not life-changing. I still have my family, my hobbies, I have many games I enjoy playing. I remain hopeful Blizzard will eventually review these concerns and continue improving its processes. But I also recognize that I am one customer among millions. My influence is limited. The only real power I have is deciding where I spend my money. And for now, I have chosen not to support Blizzard financially. But yes, by choosing not to purchase their products, I'm doing my part, as tiny and insignificant as that may be, being one of millions of their customers. What about the channel? I've been asked this a lot. That's a big question. And frankly, it's one I'm surprised I got asked about as often as I did. I've always considered trying my hand at this stuff, but never pulled the trigger. Then this incident occurred, and I thought, well, now's as good a time as any, so I gave it a go. I do not know what I'll do from here with the channel. I really just wanted to raise awareness and get some info out. I'd like to keep making more videos, but there's a lot of things to consider, like a channel identity, what types of things would I make, this sort of stuff. My son does a bit of streaming on Twitch, so maybe I talk to him and we combine efforts or share some of our antics. My wife's a phenomenal writer, so getting her involved in helping write stories might be fun as well. Or maybe I just share some insights, experience, and opinions from an older gamer.
I need to go back.
It's a lot to think about. I do know this. I've enjoyed the conversations, I've enjoyed hearing your stories, and I've enjoyed meeting people who care enough to have thoughtful discussions, even when we disagree. So we'll see where things go from here. Thank you for everyone for watching, for sharing your stories, and for being respectful throughout this journey. I'm sure the next video will be something specific surrounding what do I do with the channel. Perhaps that's a series of videos I can make, my own experience and journey, learning all the various components that goes into making videos, streaming on Twitch, these sorts of things. And sharing the resources that I use to learn. Who knows? There are many incredible games available today. My son and I still spend time gaming together. My father's now in his 80s and rarely plays games, but when he does, we still jump in and spend time with him. World of Warcraft gave me many wonderful memories. One of my favorite memories remains watching my son, when he was 4 or 5 years old, sitting with me with a bowl of Cheetos while he fished on my character. My guild thought it was hilarious. We'd go out to the Barrens,
look
and
like you
while
could
we
use a
happily
new
fished,
item
my
of,
guildmates would literally form a protective
indeterminate
circle around him,
usefulness.
killing any mobs that wandered too close so he could keep fishing. At the time, none of us realized those little moments would become some of the memories I would cherish most. Fishing eventually turned into playing the game together. I watched him create his first character, then his second, then he decided he wanted to play a DK. He decided he wanted to be a tank, just like his dad. We spent countless hours talking about what makes a good tank, how to help healers, how to support your DPS, how to lead a group through difficult content, how to stay calm when things go wrong, and how to take responsibility when mistakes happen. We talked about strategies, tactics, teamwork, leadership, and problem solving while running dungeons together. Then I watched him grow beyond World of Warcraft. I watched him move into other games. I watched him build his own communities. I watched him gather groups of friends and create the same kinds of experience that meant so much to me when I was younger. And every now and then, I got invited along and got to be part of those adventures too. These days, we're playing Hunt Showdown together, as well as other games together and on our own, and honestly, I love it. The funny thing is that he's really good, and I'm spectacularly awful. But I'm learning. When he was a kid, I was the one teaching him. I was explaining mechanics, strategies, positioning, and how to play his role. Now the tables have turned. These days, he's usually the one leading. He's calling out enemy positions, he's explaining strategies, he's teaching me things I didn't know. And I'm more than happy to follow his lead. As a parent, that's a pretty amazing thing to witness. Looking back, I realized World of Warcraft was never really the important part. It was the vehicle. It was the thing that brought people together. It was the starting point for over 20 years of memories with my family and my son. And that's something Blizzard can never suspend. They can suspend an account, they can remove access to a game, but they can't take away the friendships, the experiences, the lessons, or the memories that came from it. Those belong to us. And they always will.
So do I miss competing? If you asked me that the few years after I retired, I would have said yes.
And final boss takes the game.
They go down. The dynasty of all dynasties right there.
I think he's going to go down in history as the...
So do I miss competing? If you asked me that the few years after I retired, I would have said yes.
And final boss takes the game.
They go down. The dynasty of all dynasties right there.
I think he's going to go down in history as the greatest console player of all time.
And it looks like Ogre 2 doesn't even realize what he just did, winning the last 3 tournaments.
Ogre 2 is the greatest console esports player to ever play any game, period. You're talking about the epitome of a true legend.
My name is Tom Ryan. I used to compete in Halo as Ogre 2, and now I'm the general manager for the Florida Mutineers.
When I did on that floor, I was very not missing.
I had a really great childhood. I grew up in the suburbs and had a lot of neighborhood friends that we would play with. I grew up playing sports. My twin brother and I were very into soccer. We traveled all over the country for soccer. This was before Halo kicked in.
We were always an active family. We had 4 kids, only 4 years apart. Tom has an older brother, a twin brother, and a younger sister. So.
And how was the relationship between the twins?
It's almost inseparable.
Dan is a slightly more assertive personality, I guess, and Tom was quiet at the time, but he's really not anymore, you know?
Growing up, they did almost everything together. They have really similar interests. They had a lot of the same friends, and really until Dan moved to Australia in their early to mid 20s, like they hadn't really spent significant time apart.
For us, we always had kind of like our best friend or a really close friend that had similar interests, same exact age, always available to do things and stuff. And like I've got a son now. He's, we just got the one, And I just sometimes I think like, you know, if he had a twin, like how awesome his life would be, and it makes me realize that I really was lucky to have a twin.
With my twin brother, my relationship's great. You know, obviously he's been living in Australia for the last 11, 12 years. So we only see each other in person probably once a year max, but we still talk or text daily. And the time difference makes it tough, but we still find time to game from time to time, you know, a couple days a week if possible, for a few hours.
Dude, you suck. You just missed 2 rockets on him. They're back. Flat. You're trash.
So it is a long story, but Halo was kind of a love at first sight. We grew up playing Nintendo mostly. We had a friend on our school bus in freshman year of high school that had gotten the Xbox right when it came out, and so we hadn't heard of Halo or played Halo, but he was raving about how good Halo was, and we had played a lot of like 007 and Perfect Dark, other shooter games on the Nintendo 64, so we liked games like that, and there wasn't anything like that for the GameCube, so he's like, oh, come over to my house and try it out. And we got a couple other guys from the school bus, a couple local friends, and we started playing Halo at his house, and then we're like, we love this game. And so we went back and we ended up buying an Xbox like a few weeks later, yada, yada, yada. It was love at first sight, and we also were really good at it, and that was kind of like, we were at the age where we were very competitive with everything, so.
We see this Halo, and you know, someone shows us that you can actually link up 2 Xboxes with a cable. This was crazy back then. And you could play it like in the other room and on a different TV, and no one can screen peek, and it was like the best thing in the world for us, so.
It helped that we had a lot of very good competitive close friends from our hometown, so we actually had a really good pocket of talent to land with and get good with. Ogre 1 and Ogre 2, the gamer tags, you know, we played on Xbox Connect originally before Xbox Live.
And when you made an account, it just had like maybe 30 different like pictures, like just art pictures as avatars that you could select, and we were just flipping through like, oh, that's lame, that's lame, that's lame, and then we found this one that was like a giant ogre.
Oh, there's a really cool looking ogre guy, and then we just started playing as the ogres then. And so like it kind of just stuck. He's number 1 because he's born first. I'm number 2 because I'm twice as good. You know, that's what I always said. So it was a little different for us back then when we decided to compete in tournaments. Is a tough question because there weren't tournaments. We were playing the game, getting good at it just locally with our friends, and then we heard about, oh, someone's holding a tournament.
They came up and said, hey, there's a tournament at Ohio University, which is not far from us. Can we go to the tournament? I'm like, what? They have tournaments?
Our older brother had some friends that were going to school there, and I think like a couple guys showed up from like Indiana, Michigan, so it wasn't just people from Ohio University, but there was like 30 teams, and we just smoked everybody.
And we were just like, holy crap, like, are we like the best at this game?
A month later, we heard about another tournament that was going to happen. So the Halo 50K tournament was the first, like, I would say national level one, because there were people from all over the country that came, that we drove down to in Atlanta. You know, you hear about pockets of talent, like, oh, these guys are coming down from New York. And then there was like a couple guys that came from California for that one.
During this time, I guess there had been a couple other pretty big tournaments before, and there was some team, TDT, the dream team, that was like unbeatable, the best guys.
And we lost a close match to them, but my brother and I were doing really well individually. We knew we could beat them. And then there was a side tournament that was 2 versus 2, and my brother and I smoked those guys, both sets of them. So everyone there was kind of shocked. They're like, wow, these guys are insane. Like, they're beating the guys that have been winning the last few. And then we came out the next tournament, swapped out a teammate, and beat those guys in the 4 versus 4. It progressed slowly over time. This was 2003 to 2004 was like kind of very much more grassroots. I think it was around 2006 MLG announced a new like television deal, and they had a lot more prize money. So the prize money jumped a lot, and we were freshman year in college, like 2005, 2006. And we had a sit down talk with our parents, and we're like, if we keep winning everything like we have been the last 2 years, it's like we could make like $60,000.
Wouldn't have been our preference, but again, it was hard to say no if you're playing at that level.
Yeah, the video game stuff was blooming, and they were at the forefront of it. Why not? You know.
They were like, well, okay, fine. If you want to take some time off, as long as you promise to go back and finish school later, which is a whole separate story. Because no one knew how long that would last. We were like, is this a 1-year thing? We don't know, but they were supportive. They let us take time off school, and I would say 2006 is when we first were like, maybe not a long-term career, but we were like, we want to do this full time. And there's a lot of prize money and, you know, glory up for grabs.
The house that the boys grew up in, we had a partially finished basement, and they would do their gaming down there. Boys would ring the doorbell on Friday night, and I'd look out and there'd be 2 or 3 guys out there holding a TV.
You know, throughout Halo, our house was like the LAN house, and that's because our parents, they were okay with having neighborhood friends over. You know, that growing up, it was always like that. All the kids would come over and they would just knock on the door, we'd let them in, and we'd have like 4 or 5 friends over all the time, just running around our house. It was like the hub house of the street that we lived on.
Teams would like to come to our house to practice. We had a lot of guys in our basement for several years.
We used to put all our big checks when we win them at the tournaments. You know, you hold the big check. We had them all like mounted along like all the walls in the basement.
You know, upwards of like 30 kids from a couple different states coming there for like a week at a time, just sleeping in their basement. So it was pretty crazy, but our house was the LAN house. Everybody came over to our house from all over the country, is what it turned into.
Let's talk about your personal life.
What personal life? I didn't think about it much at the time, obviously, but my girlfriend at the time played Halo. All of my close friends throughout my life and my teenage and adult life played Halo. So it's very much a case where they intertwined. Our friends from high school that I became closest friends with, like the people I would look back and say those were my friends, they were all the guys that would come over and LAN Halo 1 and 2 with us. So they all played Halo. So it was really just a scenario where I just developed friends in the passion that I had. I don't know if I could talk too much about like winning. I think, you know, that's just kind of something that like I got lucky, and my formula of how I approach things and whatever, it works out. And I obviously had the talent, which I didn't know at the time originally. So our longest winning streak was 2005 through 2006, which was Halo 2 with my brother, Walshy, and Saiyan. Me, my brother, and Walshy teamed for like 6 or 7 years from end of Halo 1 through all of Halo 2, early Halo 3. But that Halo 2 era was our most dominant for sure. When my brother decided to retire, that was definitely a tough period. Obviously, at the time, I would have preferred that he didn't retire. He was still good. He had a long-distance girlfriend at the time, which was the main factor, who he's now married to. They've been together for like 13 years. They had been dating long distance for like over a year, and he wasn't having fun competing anymore. 2008, we weren't winning anymore. We were getting like top 4, like 3rd, 4th a lot, missing the finals.
And he finally said, you know what? I'm ready to move on. And he said, I'm just gonna move to Australia. So that was hard on the whole family. Tom doesn't talk about it, but it had to be hardest on him because they're so close.
It wasn't a surprise. It was a long time coming. It was something that Dan really wanted to do, but it was kind of a big deal. It was kind of bittersweet because it really was. Dan was moving to the opposite side of the world, and it was sad to see him move away so far.
It was a tough period, and 2009 was my worst season ever. And that was right after my brother retired. I did have some pretty dominant eras with Pistola. Pistola is obviously much different than my brother. He's much younger. He was like entering his prime. He was like 18 at the time when we got him. He very much became kind of a little brother at the time. I was much older than he was, 7 or 8 years older. But yeah, getting him was like, he did become kind of a replacement for my brother in a sense. I teamed with Pistola for the next like 3 years straight. End of 2010, where we won the last 3 straight. Then the next year, 2011, Halo Reach came out, and me and Pistola went and teamed with Roy and Lunchbox, but we stayed together, the two of us stayed together, and we were like the most dominant team that whole year. We won the national championship again. Yeah, there was like a good 2.5 year period where me and Pistola were running it as well, which was not quite as dominant as the earlier days with our Final Boss team, but pretty cool times.
I don't think it was any surprise to me that he was looking to retire for a while, or you know, considering the possibility. It had kind of run its course, and maybe his flame kind of finally dwindled a bit, and the passion wasn't there, and other things in his life were, you know, outweighing, you know, still competing.
So I love it here. Mutineers, you know, I am a Mutineer now. You know, I just love the competition side of it, and it's the perfect job for me because I love being involved in that. So do I miss competing? If you ask me that, The few years after I retired, I would have said yes. There was always the itch to come back. I still felt like I was, good enough. I would say the longer I've not competed, I'm very much over it. There was a lot of added stress to that, especially as you get older and you're doing it as a job. It's like you need to perform, you need to be winning, versus early days I was just doing it for fun. Even if I wasn't winning, I would have been going to tournaments. But I will say watching a team that you are invested in is a lot more stressful than actually when I was competing. When I was competing, I never used to think about it, never got nervous. You get up on stage and you're like, once the game starts, you're just locked in. It's like the same thing you do every day. You love it. I'm gonna go beat these guys. Watching, it's like you're completely out of control. You can't even talk to them between games. Sometimes I'll go up and tell the coach, like, go tell them to do this, as if that's making a difference. I don't know if it is, but I would say my heart races way more now than it ever did competing. I still game a lot. I'm a gamer at heart. I play whatever I want now. So gaming is now back to a relaxing time, and it's nice to have a personal life.
AI viewers stream book. Com.
And help. Yeah. Call of Duty? Really?
Akarat disappeared in the east, but took disciples in the west.
Banned.
Oh, what's up, Reg? Fucking bored. Dating add-ons and shit. Banned? What are you talking about, banned? Why isn't this website loading, man? Fucking annoying. BGS priest? What? No, it's not. Mage shaman priest. Show me who asked for her, please. Most three contenders for solo BGs. They're perma and long fights. Ironic you. For posting on a 16 mage, like that mage is probably two classes, yet you choose to mention S priest instead of it shows your insecurity. Damn. Call me cynical if you will, but you just want to misinformed to play mage instead, or less. You're just ignorant, in which case I apologize, but also please don't share tips if that's the case. Damn. I saw hunters, Armin, not just HK. You think I said him as priest is good BG so he doesn't make both? No, there would be tons of really. Please. Here's Agent Rogues. Good night. Did they announce?
Players are demanding these features be added to Classic Plus. Blizzard, they're going to be adding them. These are the exact features that Blizzard is all but guaranteed to add to Classic Plus, based on a 250,000 participant survey. That one from Jordy and Only Black Smoke. Going from 25 to 1, our first category is retail quality of life. It is clear that Blizzard wants to make the game more accessible, more streamlined for a larger audience. Number 25 would be toggleable animations and graphics. So you could go from retail to classic, or classic to retail. Maybe you really like the new character models, or you're tired of the old ones. The idea would be to give you an option. Obviously you default to the original classic ones, but if it causes a single extra retail player to play, Blizzard's probably going to do the work. The technology exists, and it doesn't seem like it'd be a deal breaker for anybody. Number 24 feature that is very likely coming is AoE looting. 62% of the population is in favor, while 22% actually don't care. Which, yeah, pretty high number. There are rumors that the game is being partially funded by Xbox, so if that's the case, and the game comes to console, there's no way you're going to be looting without AoE looting. Though there is something definitely lost with AoE looting, right? I mean, maybe it's a dopamine thing, but I don't really love it. At number 23, we have layers. Some people hate layers. At least streamers definitely do. You also lose that feeling of knowing a guy's in a certain area and going and actually physically seeing them there. But layers are really the only way they're possibly going to do these giant mega servers. The majority of the community, they accept them as a necessary evil. Ultimately, when it comes to things like questing and grinding, most players would prefer layers to not having them. However, the majority of the community does want to see those layers increase in capacity, especially in cities. Most people would agree that you don't need any layers in cities, just pack them wall to wall. At number 22, we have implementing the random dungeon finder, but only to group up, not to travel. It's a little bit of a mind bender, but the idea would be that you can randomly form a group, but then you have to physically go to the dungeon. Though I can easily see this backfiring pretty bad if you don't like the group you're given. I mean, who's going all the way from Stormwind to Wailing Caverns if your tank looks like they're not very geared or something? I would love to hear your take on it, but I could definitely see it not going well. Now, number 21 is rated battlegrounds, PvP, dueling, some kind of leaderboard. On paper, the majority want it. Though the question is, would you actually play it? Would you really want to see arenas at level 60? Or would they end up being relatively low activity? Only a small percentage of the player base actually engages with them. But everybody does seem to want them. The balancing drama around arenas would probably feed families. At number 20, the feature a lot of people want that is most likely not happening is transmog. The majority do not want to see transmog in Classic Plus, but I have heard that some private servers, they offer a toggle switch. If you toggle a button, everybody's transmog would become visible, so you could do things like contests and role-playing, and then everybody who doesn't like transmog wouldn't have to do it. Now the next 5 are systems that are all but guaranteed to happen in Classic Plus. Now number 19, everybody wants the level 60 cap when we walk into Azeroth. That is guaranteed. The majority also want to wait and see, and maybe raise that level cap in the future. However, interestingly, the majority also don't seem to want to have cap leveling, 25, 40, 50. Though if Blizzard adds a lot of leveling content, and people are just rushing to 60, I don't really get the point. Wouldn't gating the leveling at like 25, 40, 50? It would allow players to really enjoy the content, and do things like the level up raids, without feeling forced to get to 60 super fast. At number 18, we have the raid loot system that everybody wants. According to the majority of the population, loot systems are like soft reserve, free roll, main spec over off spec. Those are what people want, and absolutely not GDKP. About 55% of the population does not want GDKP in Classic Plus. That's a system where you bid for items with gold, which makes a lot of people rich, but also people think it encourages gold buying and stuff. At number 17 is new class quests, which are pretty hard to go wrong with. Though in Season of Discovery, some classes did feel like they got pretty epic quests, while everybody else got shafted. Could be an interesting way to balance classes too, and definitely make some classes more or less popular. Number 16 is achievements. Everybody wants achievements in Classic Plus, though I do suspect that Blizzard will implement achievements that feel more classic than they do in typically retail or whatever. Meaning, for example, having an icon on your character like World Scroll RuneScape, where you can actually see, like, okay, this guy is Iron Man, or this guy is doing this specific kind of run. You know, something to really brag about. Number 15 is new professions. New professions sound great on paper, but what would that really entail? Like survival skills or what? If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. Would be kind of cool to pull this. I mean, I'm sure people know what they want. Next, we're going to talk about some broad class changes, systems that are definitely coming to Classic Plus. Number 14 is new playable races. You know, ones that already exist in Azeroth that has a huge amount of approval. Leads to things like High Elves and Blood Elves, which does kind of feel like playing a little safe. We're probably not going to be seeing any Drakthir in Classic Plus anytime soon. Number 13 is Horde having Paladins and Alliance having Shamans. Seems like the majority want this. Would make it so both factions are practically identical, though it would also change the meta. Unless you change racials, a lot of people would prefer going Horde because that would just be the more overpowered race for PvE. And number 12, talent specializations being reworked, but only with a light touch. I don't really know what a light touch is to modern Blizzard, but probably like 8 billion talent options and melee hunters, and oh, and of course Smite Priest being viable too. At number 11, one thing we can definitely expect Blizzard not to do is to balance everything for both competitive PvE and PvP. The vast majority are okay with classes not being perfectly balanced for both. Though it is easy to say now, but when your class actually sucks, I don't really think people are going to have that stance. Now we get into the top 10 most high approval things that are 100% coming to Classic Plus, unless Blizzard directly goes against the community. Number 10 is new race class combos, but only things in the lore that make sense. So a human hunter makes sense, but I don't really know what wouldn't make sense. Maybe you have some ideas. Number 9, with a 74% approval, is a separate collections inventory. It seems really simple, really obvious to add it, and yet there is something lost when you have a giant collection of mounts and fun random items from quests, and they're not taking up all your bag space. Horrible bag management is definitely a big part of Classic, whether you like it or hate it. Number 8 is summoning stones working outside of dungeons. 74% of the population want that, but I do wonder, do they really want that? And when you actually start playing the game, will it feel better or worse? I feel like a lot of Classic is actually just traveling around. Number 7, 83% of people think that Classic Plus should have new zones. What should those new zones be, though? I don't know. But if Blizzard doesn't add them, they're getting fired. Number 6, there should be more epic quest lines. 85% say yes, they want to see things like more Rock de Lar quest lines. It's gonna happen. Number 5, should there be new raids? Absolutely yes, according to the population. Proposed raids that already exist in the world, like Hyjal for sure, as well as completely new ideas like Scarlet Enclave. Filling out zones, giving us stuff, seems like a win. Number 4, guild banks. Everybody wants guild banks, 86% of the population. Probably because nobody wants to store all their supplies on some random guy's alt character. Number 3, should professions be upgraded to have more endgame relevance? Yes, make professions relevant. Everybody wants that. Things like new recipes from new raids. Number 2, should new content be added for leveling like quests and low-level zones and dungeons? Yes, 92% want that. Though, everybody wants that, but if we're going to be rushing to 60 without level caps, maybe that might not work out. I really do want to die on this hill. There should be level gating at like 25 and 40, so that people don't just rush to 60. And the number 1 feature that every single person wants, well, about 93% of the population, from 43,000 votes for this topic, it's dual specialization, meaning you can switch your talent specs without actually having to pay gold. It is a shockingly high number, considering that only a few years ago, this was a controversial topic. Had a lot of diehard fans criticizing the decision to add it. Overall, though, I would love to hear your thoughts on what features Blizzard is all but certainly adding to Classic Plus. Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. Subscribe for the latest Classic Plus leaks, rumors, everything will be in this channel.
For 2 weeks, Blizzard injected so much MMR into the ladder that fresh tunes now start at 2200 rating. However, it seems like this inflation period has slowed down, at least according to some reports. Meanwhile, we have an update to our predictions on the solo shuffle meta, including some specs which turned out to be sleeper OP. Anyway, let's start with our updated Melee rankings after the most recent patch. Remaining in S tier is none other than Arms Warrior. While the nerfs are quite noticeable, they weren't enough to push the spec down the food chain. Their incredible pressure with efficient offensive cooldowns, combined with their ability to peel for teammates, remains powerful in most solo shuffle lobbies. While Arms is now one of the few S tier specs in the Melee bracket, the gap between them and the A+ tier specs doesn't feel nearly as large as it did previously. However, Enhancement Shaman has definitely moved down a tier. The nerf to Doom Winds was expected, and it packs less of a punch than it previously did. It went from dealing the most absurd damage to now being a decent offensive cooldown, which is a noticeable loss for this spec. Since Doom Winds is a massive solo carry win condition for Enhancement, making it less powerful means it's now more difficult for them to close out a shuffle round. A couple of specs moving all the way up to S tier are two of the rogue specs, being Sub and Outlaw. Sub rogues remain quite dominant, as the control and offensive setups they provide can help almost anyone win. Their threatening offensive windows can also be difficult to fully shut down, and overlapping defensive cooldowns are common in solo shuffle, which they can exploit to secure wins later. Their main challenge is often the teammates they play with, as you need to allow the sub rogue to set up stuns on cooldown, otherwise you may unintentionally disrupt their setups. Outlaw has slightly less control, but that is compensated for by significantly more passive pressure, allowing it to gain and maintain momentum. It can also create...
I forgot. This game received a big fat update apparently.
You playing Sank mod?
Thinking about it. Apparently there was a big update. Let's see. Okay.
I haven't heard anything about it for ages.
They just had a big update this past week, apparently. On hit, forks, nearby enemies, gain additional forks, build up on spirit. I don't care about that. Glacial spike no longer freezes and explodes. Now forks into max 3 nearby enemies. Starts. Now receives 1% max physical resistance. Oh, what the fuck? Divine Judgment. That's a new ability. Entirely new skill that has replaced Holy Nova. Good, because Holy Nova is literally worthless. First level 30. Hitting the enemy creates a holy ground that deals magic damage over time and regenerates your HP. What the fuck? The initial hit deals splash damage. First 10% to 10% per base. Benefits from magic mastery. Your regeneration scales with levels, not base levels. No longer requires two-handed sword to function. Now works with every melee weapon type. What the fuck? No longer adds tornado shots.
This is all the same, I believe.
Yeah, hold on. Updated 4 days ago.
Just look in their Discord.
Sleepy Cat was playing.
I wanna play that Annie mod again. I like that one.
I cheese.
This is PoE, you lying piece of shit.
Guy Sliver help. Either way, it's time for a little bit of SOE before bed. A little bit of SOE. SOE.
Fucking gay.
Little further he starts.
Just fuck me up with a line like that? Yup. Now let's see what hell's like with our newly established Boner Necro.
Boner Necro.
I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I only practiced it in Nightmare a little
If
bit.
I was to play
He was
this
good on
mod
cows.
again, I do Boner.
Seems fine.
I love boners.
Oh my god, my health. Elemental damage is very spooky still, it seems. I am now frozen forever. I have now become part of the Blue Man Group. Jesus. That was fucking risque. My paladin was confused why I was dying so fast. Forgot I respect the Trisac. Did you just have like no vitality or anything?
He's in hell and he's doing this much damage? What's his level?
He's 48.
That's so ridiculous.
Baroque round shield. It's a broke shield. Ass 11. Hi, Chrononos. How are you little lick machine?
Jesus. What the fuck?
Magic damage, bro.
My experience with Pally's. Any? That's fair. It's a very different experience from your base D2. Paladins are very good. They're very versatile. So I don't really like a lot of their options outside of Holy Bolt anymore. Sack has been just like fucking hit so many times. It's so hard to play it now. I forgot my stamina's fucked. Ooh, a map.
Ridiculous.
What's your achievement since the Unpally? Oh, it's like Holy Fire. We had to fix the lags with PoE. I fixed a good chunk of the lag. It can still lag my OBS with like insane packed room tornadoes.
All right, this is not getting me what I want. There is. I don't know how to get to the Discord. Maybe it's on here.
He'll be right back. He'll join Discord with you.
Wait, which mod are you interested in? Or Plus? Intro of Exile. Okay, shout out to member. Amazing application called Intro of Exile Companion. It's an automatic rail drop tracker, but also has many more features. Oh, this is it here. Wait, what? This is it. Echoes of Hatred. Echoes of Hatred for the Lord of Hatred is gone, his influence is gone, hatred is only more horrible, blah 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 blah. New system ascendancy, still striving for greater powers. First time in normal difficulty will drop an ascendancy Karn alongside with ascendancy soulstone. You become a powerful juggernaut or a cunning pathfinder. Maybe a lightning fast Deadeye. Oh, this is all PoE shit. You cycle through the available ascendancies, just cube soulstone of might on its own after you have decided which ascendancy you want to advance with. Cube soulstone of might with your ascendancy Karn. As any other talisman, so just keep it. Defeating Bale for the first time by Nightmare and Hell. With these will yield you soulstones of tier 2 and 3 respectively. Cube them with your ascendancy Karn to unlock more power. Class of your choice. Obtain the final soulstone and achieve In Ascension, you have to prove your strength by defeating any of the Ubers on any tier. Clone, Rathma, Uber, Tristram, Lazarus, Lucian, Blood Mage. Get 1% tier 4 game. Mental Magic Mastery for 40 life. Yeah. Blood Magic. Chronomancer. +2 to skills. Faster cast rate. Increased attack speed. Cooldown reduction. Fuck, you just spam your shit. In order to respec, keep your ascendancy current. Such as this. New map system, Hatred Orbs. Your newly gained power deserves to be tested and rewarded in patch. Using your maps is fanatic called Hatred Orbs. This is complete control and risk. Find new items when playing the game. These items are stackable. Used to workshop from current place. I'm fucking confused. New crafting system essences. A new modifier has been introduced that affects summons HP. Every increment is displayed in the skill description. Oh, cool. Skill duration. A new modifier has been introduced that affects the skills have duration example. Buff effect. New modifier has been introduced that affects skills that branch out. For the skill to be considered a buff, it needs to have a duration. New currency items to enhance crafting capabilities. Colonel Orb. Secret system changes here. Mechanic changes increase maximum block chance 35%, 80%. Sure. Eight cards. Edgy.
Did you find any changes?
A shit ton. Yeah, I'm reading them now. He added some system called fake cards. I'm not fully understanding it.
They were already in it.
Fake cards? I never saw that shit.
Yeah, they were already in it. You get the amount of, they're like the PoE things. You get enough of them, and then you put them in the cube, and it gives you whatever the card tells you it gives you.
The unique items. Trying to see class changes. There we go. Low resist is now affected by a modifier. He put more information in the game too. Divine Judgment damage synergies increased from 11% to 15%. Oh, Holy Fire got nerfed. Holy Shot got nerfed. Dork. Number of spikes from 2 to 3. Increase the base maximum number of spikes from 3 to 5. So Perforate got buffed. Fire top, blah 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 blah. Non-class skill changes. Reinforce, Onslaught, Gale Force, Endurance, Charge, Time Warp. There's so many like non-class new skills. I don't know how to update it. There's a new boss called Lazarus. Echoes of Hatred. What does hit play? We're gonna say Echoes of Hatred. Oh shit, that's loud. I don't see where it says. Oh, it's got my old dudes on here.
Yes, it does.
That mean it's not updated?
They're not ladder. Oh, this is a single player, right?
I don't think you can play online with this game.
No, you can't.
It says SOE 13.0.1.
I have no idea then. I literally haven't kept up with it.
Add inventory data.
Yeah, so it's been updated. You have to start new characters. Yep.
I don't know how to fix this.
You can't fix it once you have that inventory. it'll be old items, so you can't actually get into it. You'd have to
Oh,
find your
make a new character should work.
yeah. You'd have to make a new character because there'd be items or whatever in your old characters that now that it's been updated, you can't play them anymore. It's single player Act 1.
No, I know. I just want to see if this will work.
No, this is your
shit. Didn't work.
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't fucking.
I was just curious. It was like letting me go all the way in. I don't even fucking know what I would fucking play.
Well, looks like you've already done Assassin, Necro, and Barb. But the Bone Spear Necro is fucking strong. The tornado shot was too busted. That's why I stopped playing.
What the fuck? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you updated this?
I don't know how to. No, I haven't.
So, did you just read that? Go back into that.
This?
Back into the cogwheel. Check this box if you want to use Pluggy. If you won't, then Pluggy won't work. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know then. Now, beats me. I'm so bored
Before
lately.
updating Sanctuary of Exile, other manual or via dedicated launcher, please update your PD2 installation to Season 13 using their launcher. Already done that. As mentioned before, this is a save breaking patch due to several incompatibilities with changes. Delete your entire save folder before playing. With the newest patch, you can always enable offline mode. Delete your entire save, or remember that if you're not ready to skip the newest patch, you can always patch notes, release notes. Installation of non-damnation mode is bugged. The launch right now and will be dealt with tomorrow. For now, if you don't want to play damage, please perform manual installation. Blah, blah, blah. So how do you update this shit? It updates the base game to patch fixes, patches released to Divine Arm. Patch note. Recommended installation. Safe break. Let us click this. Installation. Yeah, I don't know how to do this shit. Well, that's not it. I'm too tired for this. I need to go to fucking bed anyways. It's 3 o'clock in the morning almost over here, dude.
Yeah.
Let me know if you figure it out though. Cause I kinda wanna try. Supposedly there's some new shit he updated. But I don't know where it's at on here. And I'm fucking like falling asleep trying to figure this shit out. It's got the patch notes and he's got the recommended installation from through launcher. That's what I clicked on, but it. What does this one do? Same thing. Same fucking thing. Oh. Anyways, I'm tired, bro. I'll be on